Damian Durr.
Damond D. Fields.
This is Kofa Conversations.
Black to the building, black to the feeling, and black to the healing, y'all. Sankofa Talks live. I have to obviously start out, bros, by hey, Sunday was off the chain.
Yes,
It was off the chain.
Absolutely.
It was well attended, well engaged. D revealed himself as a motivational speaker that day. You know, most people was not aware of that. he brought it on out.
He's a serial entrepreneur, brother. He liked the Midas touch. He got gold. You know what I mean?
Well, he showcased his gift for gab, you know, and I think you brought it all out. But I want to say to that, for those who are listening, that gave me a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. This is my discipline. Mm-hmm. And to be able to back in the mix with you who I love and know, we go back 1,000 years, and you becoming my brother, this was, was perfect.
Yes.
So that was medication. We talk about these things alone and talk about our people, but our people were present here. So I want to say those who are watching, this is going to happen again. I want you all to come to Sankofa. Not only is Sankofa a restaurant, but Sankofa is a renaissance. It's how we're shifting our ideas right about now, bro.
What you call it? What club? What type of club? The Cotton Club.
Yeah, the Cotton Club.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole Harlem Renaissance. How come we can't have Oak Cliff Renaissance? Can we do that?
You know what I'm saying?
Oak Cliff, that's my home. Before that song came out, that's my hood. Okay, let me get it right. I may have been out when they were doing that.
No doubt.
But no, I just wanted to say that by starting out. That is my, it's not my testimony. It's my confession.
No doubt.
A lot of people give testimonials. That's my confession.
Yeah.
And I needed that. I told D when I walked in the building, it felt like being a fish that had been on land and somebody finally threw me back in the water.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So that was I wanted to give that confession of what I felt about what happened Sunday.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, I echo. I mean, Sunday is when you get around people and you have a certain synergy, you know, that comes. And so when you're feeding off of the live audience, I mean, because we got the brothers, we got the strong warriors
Right.
up here, and then we giving the information into the audience. It was on Sunday, and I think Damond said if somebody that came and said, this was like church.
Yeah,
Or-
she
What
told
you
me
say?
that.
What
She
you
said,
say?
she said this, I just left church. And she said, this was better than church.
Better than church. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I hugged her and went to walk off. She said, much better than church.
Absolutely.
And she
Absolutely.
said, and I love my church. She was making sure that I understood that she wasn't being critical.
Right,
But she was talking about what I walked away from. She talked about the power of seeing strong black men standing in front of her.
Hit the cash app, Sankofa.
No doubt, no doubt.
Send all your tithes and offerings.
All the time.
But you know what?
Offering it.
That's something we have to really consider. We need to be cash apping. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah, no
we got to
doubt.
give our people a way to be able to give to us.
Yeah, because what happens is anytime you have a mission of something that you're doing, many people will want to support it, but a lot of times they just don't know how. And
Okay.
and us, I like how Diop say, where you usually get it from? He say, man, I get it from the what? Where you get all your stuff from?
Out the mud.
Out the mud. I said, man, out of the mud. I hadn't heard that. When I met him
Yeah.
some years ago, he told me that, look, man, I just get it out the mud. I was like, dang, that's slick, you know what I'm saying? And so I think many times we used to doing that, and we can do that. But man, when somebody else is willing to be able to dig in that mud for us,
Now, you
or
just said
pass it
something
on,
right
you
there,
know
bro.
what I'm saying?
Somebody
It's
dig
like,
that
hey,
mud for us, man.
Yeah, man, ain't nothing wrong with that, bro.
Well, I want to ask a question to D before you speak. This is your place. This is where the people came. Places that you developed in the past is where we always met. Not only we meet there to come and eat and fellowship, but we also had music. We had poetry. We had frustrations and disagreement. We had the community.
Yep.
How did that make you feel, man, just with what we displayed that day? How'd you feel about that as a young entrepreneur?
This gonna sound funny, but it was like, I mean, I did it so many times,
Right.
so it's just like, okay, we pulled another one off.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. Well, that's good. 'Cause many people don't have that many successes underneath their belt as you, sir. You know, so that's good when you can say that, because I've seen him do many of programs,
Oh, major
many
events.
of everything. And I've been nudging him like, hey man, you need to redo this again, do this again, man, because I've seen all of what he's been able to do. And so yeah, it's a continuation on. You know what I'm saying? He never let that chain break. He brought it in and he keeps moving it, keeps building that block.
Well, it goes back to when we have these kind of conversations where people realize that we take it for granted sometimes. The impact that we really have. We would have a conversation that was lightweight. I'm gonna stop saying that. It may have been lightweight to us, but it ain't lightweight to somebody who don't know. So, and then that's how I take what you were saying. You've seen it played out over. over again. But even though it wasn't some of the biggest events that you've done, and you've done major events, it was for me because it's my reawakening.
And I don't even necessarily say that I'm looking at it as scaling it as no big event or anything like that. I guess I look at it as like, you know, it's a sport, you know. And then when you playing the game, and you're supposed to be a clutch shooter,
MJ,
if they put you on the line, you're supposed to hit the free throw.
Supposed to hit it. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
it makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's the way I look at it, and it's like, okay, if we put it out there, then I remember Isaka Musa Barashango told me this years ago. He said, brother, if you put it out there and the people don't come, then maybe they're not ready for it.
Yeah, that's real.
So they came.
Yep.
They showed up. They showed up and showed out. You know, too. We had everything except for somebody hollering. You know, we didn't even have nobody catching.
We had enough time, bro. We'd have had enough time, bro. We'd have had enough time.
Catching the ghost and whatever else, you know, end up in there.
Well, this is the pretext to me. Is it started out as a call to order to bring us back to brotherhood, D. Okay, that call to order has mushroomed into the Sankofa Talks podcast. That Sankofa Talk podcast has merged into a gathering where we brought our people. So strong that people who in the Bible Belt, who love the Lord and love church, say, hey, this was better than church.
They'll say amen.
Amen.
So I think that's what they'll say over there,
Yeah, so I believe that the fact that we've gone from discussions of solutions to execution, that makes us totally different. Everybody's sitting around talking, bro. You can go anywhere on the internet, that's a big time conversation.
Yeah, man.
But after that conversation is over, do you see any activity? Nah, man, nah. And then I was listening to Khaled this morning, and Khaled was talking about, you know, it's good to be readers, but you reading without being a warrior, you might well put the book down.
You gotta have them warrior scholars, man. Scholarship is good. You know,
Right.
you need to be able to have the academics here. Because I mean, sometimes my man back at Prairie View used to say when he would go down to his family reunion, and he said some of his cousins would be just so ignorant. He said, man, this is just like a mass of ignorant son of a down here. I say, oh man, that's terrible to say about your family. But I'm saying sometimes I think that, you know, I told him, I said, you can't think like that about your family. He said, well, I mean, he said, I don't mean it like that. He said, but just when I look around, just some of the behavior patterns, you know, that they practice. So essentially, we're trying to bring our people out of that. We don't want to go down to no family gathering and say it's a mass of ignorant son of a That's crazy, you know what I'm saying? We want to be able to lead them in a certain direction that they are doing something productive, fruitful, something constructive, you know?
Yeah, what I saw was, and I create matrix. You know, when you are out into social entrepreneurship or social engineering or however you want social innovation, you're constantly making adjustments, just like a team. You call it like a sport. You're constantly making the adjustments. What I would paraphrase that into is what I call my environmental matrix. We set a climate. That's what we did first. The food was ready when we came in.
No doubt, yeah.
When I mediated gang conflicts, I don't know if anybody set this paradigm, but I don't remember nobody black doing what I was doing at the time.
Okay.
But at the time, one thing that I knew, if I served food for them brothers and had a place where they respected it, was it a church or someplace they revered or respected, that was half the battle.
Right.
And then to have strong men who stood on principles, those were the three things that would make, anytime I was trying to resolve a conflict, make it work. That's what happened in here. You had the food up in here.
Yep.
Then you had the spectacle. We're drawn by lights.
Right.
What they gonna do next?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then allowed them to be able to fellowship among each other. That was fellowship that was going on in here after we left.
Absolutely.
So I'm just proud of where we are. I don't know if we say that enough to each other. I'm proud of what we collectively done. And I know this is just the beginning. And hopefully some way, we don't know what's gonna happen with this Super Bowl gig, but we're trying to mushroom and leverage everything to our advantage.
Absolutely.
I've done some of everything in my life, so I'm not caught up in the lights and the glamour, but I like to use them because everything is a tool.
That's it. You know, my man here usually refers to me as missionaries.
Yeah.
Missionary can be all right if it's used in the proper manner. What we don't want to be is those missionaries that rape, pillage, and do crazy stuff like that. But if it's used in a proper manner, I told him it's kind of like a key, an old key to a house 10 years ago. It ain't gonna make a difference because you don't live there no more. The new house, that key let you in, and that's where home is. So I say that's how it is on the missionary part, because we have to be able to. I tell him a lot of times with the missionary for my people. I might have mentioned this for the other episode. It's kind of like sometimes like an abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying, with our people. And you might get hit, you know, pow, 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 left, right, but you just keep going back because you just love them so. But when you realize
Damian Durr.
Damond D. Fields.
This is Kofa Conversations.
I'm sitting here with the real triple OG right now, y'all. This is Miss Emma Rogers. This is the pioneer of black literature in the city of Dallas right now. And we just honored to have her coming through and supporting and eating with Sankofa. And I just wanted to get you on camera and let the people see you.
Well, this is my favorite place, and I love the Impossible Burger. Sankofa has the best Impossible Burger in the United States of America, okay? Because I've eaten them in other states and airports and what have you, and it has the absolute best. They have great service. The food is good and hot. It's seasoned well. You really don't have to add anything to it. I've had their fish, and you have nachos or something. My late husband loved their fish and what have you, but I am addicted to the Impossible Burger, and I try to come here at least once or twice a month to get my addiction settled.
We appreciate you, Ms. Rogers.
Okay.
Like I said, this is the founder. Black Image is Book Bazaar.
And it was Rogers, R-O-D.
R-O-D. We gonna put that on there. We appreciate everything, Ms. Rogers.
Okay, all right, thank
you.
Over again. But even though it wasn't some of the biggest events that you've done, and you've done major events, it was for me. Because it's my reawakening.
And I don't even necessarily say that I'm looking at it as scaling it as no big event or anything like that. I guess I look at it as like, it's a sport, and then when you playing the game, and you're supposed to be a clutch shooter,
MJ?
if they put you on the line, you're supposed to hit the free throw.
Supposed to hit it, yeah.
If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's the way I look at it, and it's like, okay, if we put it out there, then I remember Ishaka Musa Barashango told me this years ago. He said, brother, if you put it out there and the people don't come, then maybe they're not ready for it.
Yeah, that's real.
So they came.
Yep.
They showed up. They showed up and showed out. Too. We had everything except for somebody hollering. We didn't even have nobody catching.
We had enough time, bro. We'd have had enough time, bro. We'd have had enough time.
Catching the ghost and whatever else, end up in there.
Well, this is the pretext to me. Is it started out as a call to order to bring us back to brotherhood, D. Okay. That call to order has mushroomed into the Sankofa Talks podcast. That Sankofa Talk podcast has merged into a gathering where we brought our people. So strong that people who in the Bible Belt, who love the Lord and love church, say, hey, this was better than church.
They'll say amen.
Amen.
So I think that's what they'll say over there,
Yeah, so I believe that the fact that we've gone from discussions of solutions to execution, that makes us totally different. Everybody's sitting around talking, bro. You can go anywhere on the internet, that's a big time conversation. Yeah, man. But after that conversation is over, do you see any activity? Nah, man, nah. And then I was listening to Khaled this morning, and Khaled was talking about, it's good to be readers, but you reading without being a warrior, you might well put the book down.
You gotta have them warrior scholars, man. Scholarship is good.
Right.
You need to be able to have the academics here, because sometimes my man back at Prairie View, he used to say when he would go down to his family reunion, and he said some of his cousins would be just so ignorant. He said, man, this is just like a mass of ignorant son of a down here. He said, oh man, that's terrible to say about your family. But I'm saying sometimes I think that, I told him, I said, you can't think like that about your family. He said, well, I mean, he said, I don't mean it like that. He said, but just when I look around, just some of the behavior patterns, that they practice. So essentially, we're trying to bring our people out of that. We don't want to go down to no family gathering and say it's a mass of ignorant son of That's crazy, you know what I'm saying? We want to be able to lead them in a certain direction that they are doing something productive, fruitful, something constructive,
Yeah, what I saw was, and I create matrix. When you are out into social entrepreneurship or social engineering or however you want social innovation, you're constantly making adjustments, just like a team. You call it like a sport. You're constantly making the adjustments. What I would paraphrase that into is what I call my environmental matrix. We set a climate. That's what we did first. The food was ready when we came here.
No doubt, yeah.
When I mediated gang conflicts, I don't know if anybody set this paradigm, but I don't remember nobody black doing what I was doing at the time.
Okay.
But at the time, one thing that I knew, if I served food for them brothers and had a place where they respected it, was it a church or someplace they revered or respected, that was half the battle.
Right.
And then to have strong men who stood on principles, those were the three things that would make, anytime I was trying to resolve a conflict, make it work. That's what happened in here. You had the food up in here.
Yep.
Then you had the spectacle. We're drawn by lights.
Right.
What they gonna do next?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then allowed them to be able to fellowship among each other. That was fellowship that was going on in here after we left.
Absolutely.
So I'm just proud of where we are. I don't know if we say that enough to each other. I'm proud of what we collectively done. And I know this is just the beginning. And hopefully in some way, we don't know what's gonna happen with this Super Bowl gig, but we're trying to mushroom and leverage everything to our advantage.
Absolutely.
I've been to done some of everything in my life, so I'm not caught up in the lights and the glamour, but I like to use them because everything is a tool.
That's it. But my man here usually refers to me as missionaries.
Yeah.
Missionary can be all right if it's used in the proper manner. What we don't want to be is those missionaries that rape, pillage, and do crazy stuff like that. But if it's used in a proper manner, I told him it's kind of like a key. An old key to a house 10 years ago, it ain't gonna make a difference because you don't live there no more. The new house, that key let you in, and that's where home is. So I said that's how it is on the missionary part, because we have to be able to. I tell him a lot of times with the missionary for my people. I might have mentioned this for the other episode. It's kind of like sometimes like an abusive relationship, what I'm saying, with our people. And you might get hit, pow, 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 left, right, but you just keep going back because you just love them so. But when you realize.
Damian Durr.
Damond D. Fields.
This is Kofa Conversations.
We still taking y'all and giving y'all the history lesson on Sankofa and where we started at. This is one of the brothers that started with us years ago, Brother Everett. I just wanted to, introduce y'all to him and let him tell his story and his connection with Sankofa. Appreciate you sitting in with us, bro.
Well, I met the man, I think it was 2008, 2009. Started off on this little promotion team, helping run flyers, and worked my way back up, to food running. So running back and forth to the restaurant, talking to customers, having a good time. Friday night she was doing the open mic. Spoken word, Steve Nice coming through, DJing and stuff, The love always been real, from him, Moms, Jocelyn, Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie.
So they've been around for a while, when I could tap in and help out, I do that, but all love the Sankofa.
Yeah, so tell us what you're doing now.
I got a seafood truck, so I'm running my own seafood business, my own food truck. He's still showing love, he just blessed me with my refrigerator and stuff for my trailer, so
What's the name of the business, bro?
E5 Seafood.
Where can they find you at?
Instagram, E5 Seafood, TikTok, E5 Seafood, Facebook, E5 New Orleans Seafood and Barbecue. I'm on Google, check me out.
E5, appreciate you, bro.
We on big.
All right.
Answer Robert, that's
Yeah,
right.
we coming down a little bit more. Even with Wayne Dyer and all that,
Right.
see, all of this here, but we don't read. So all they doing now is they taking this information and they repackaging it.
Yeah. Reframing it, bro. Yes. Go ahead.
Frame and
Go ahead. I
reframe.
didn't interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, this is something that we've been doing for a long time. It was called nationalism. It's called something else. We have been the quintessential motivational speakers. But most of the time, people didn't feel us because some people were afraid of it. Black people who work for a white establishment who depend upon that for their livelihood and for their families were afraid to step into that realm. Other people who didn't have any knowledge of it out beyond that thought we were being too radical. But no one could argue that if you sat in front of us when we were speaking, the impact it had on you.
Absolutely.
Now, for me, this is an I statement. I always gave direction and purpose out to any kind of presentation. My actions were first, my presentation was an acknowledgement of the shit that's already being done.
Right.
And I think that's what's happening with us right here, right now. So if y'all listen to us, we don't fit the dynamics of what he described that was going on in the church. That's why the lady came up in here and said, what? Man, this was better than church. People are looking for outcomes now, man.
Because if you go back and look at, if you really go back and listen to Dr. King's speeches, he was motivating you then.
Oh, no doubt.
But they don't classify that. When you listen to Malcolm, he was a motivator.
Oh,
Get
man.
fired up, bro.
Marvin was a
Say
motivator.
what, man? Yes.
You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can't get him a motivation than Dr. Ben.
Say,
Bro,
man, you know-
bro. He hit you with everything. Humor, he make you mad.
Dr.
Because,
Collins was a master at that.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And some of these names that you hear him mentioning, you all need to go look those up because a lot of people, we can't take that for granted. A lot of y'all don't even know who Khaled is. A lot of y'all don't know who Doc Bean is.
Give the whole name so they'll know. They'll be able to Google it. You know what I'm saying? They may have to check things out.
Khaled Abdul Muhammad.
All right then.
Dr.
You know?
Yosef Ben Yakinen.
There we go.
Ashaka Musa Barra Shango. He was my, because I came from the church. I'm not saying he was safe. I identified. He had a rhythm that I could, I could go
He
up.
kept it hip.
Yeah.
JC.
Yeah.
About JC. You know
He
what
wasn't
I'm saying?
turning down them, but his collar, boy, yeah,
Yeah.
he popping on you in a minute.
Yeah. And I see that key. What I would like to do, even some of the hottest pieces we got here, a part of what I'm doing now is called Wi-Fi Sports. It's still a part of Griot Nation. But the whole idea of Wi-Fi is wellness information for inspiration. We have to be our own level. Inspiration is something that come from the inside. Some of the things that we're saying right now, if you took the right music and dynamics and scored it, it would be just as powerful. And we are going to start doing that. I'm working on that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I said, I was talking to you, D, about doing the Institute and then have the School of Entrepreneurship in your name. Then having something to deal with real estate, having that school under your name. Why not? Then we started, 3 or 4 people started the Black Panther Party? You never started out with a bunch of people.
No. I mean, you look to be able to get the masses, but initially you can start out with a small group, dedicated, and as Mandela used to always say, organized. If we get organized, that's what it's about.
He said African.
Africans get organized. Let me not misquote him.
Let's get clear. Don't go too far back into the missionary.
I got his obituary, and then I got a big, I bought it from him a long time ago. It's a
Right.
9x12 thing and say, Africans get organized. Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
Forward ever.
Backwards never. Absolutely. That's it.
We're gonna have to write that up, man.
yeah,
We got to
man.
write that
No
up.
doubt, no
But
doubt,
you know
man.
what we can do as well is make sure we, like we're doing now, keep the memory of said brothers alive.
Yes, sir.
The brother
Yes,
that
sir.
we lost had the spot over in the Keith Center. What was that brother's name?
He talking about Ashton
Extra Daily.
Act of change.
Yeah, definitely. Even for me, with Brother Zaki Dean, for those who may know Zaki, the inspiration he was for me. But I'm gonna circle back for a minute to what he was saying about where we're going in 2023, where we're already headed unless we have a misdirection. I say the whole conversation about toxic masculinity, the demasculation of men, and then us standing up and reaffirming that. So there are 2 narratives. I'm never gonna stay with the negative. The second one being is this debate between the black man and the black woman that's being perpetuated on social media. It's a dogfight. It's being thrown out as a dogfight.
Oh, yes.
Now, granted, I've gained some information regarding the discussion, but when you use it as a tool to beat somebody, see, if you come out and the only tool you got is a hammer, you ain't got nothing to do but beat folks like they're a nail. But I think that's another one. The other separation I'm saying is something must be done. The narrative that I will be pushing is manhood one-on-one. It's the fundamental ingredient. Because if you have a responsibility, you don't have no responsibility, and you got a title, you're gonna fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
People gonna be looking at you. And I keep saying, you jump from responsibilities, which would be a rite of passage. got the uncle, you got the brother, you got the nephew. What else is my bitch? You got the cousin. I'm saying these are roles, and then people like, you know, kissing cousins and all this shit. You know where they come from? Not clear definition of what these roles are.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
uncles getting with with people in the family. You know when you got an uncle that got something wrong with him.
Oh man, say.
So
You gotta
in our
watch that.
families, we got to recognize the dangers that are internal. We got internal conflicts and we got external conflicts. And people like say, man, y'all can't be talking about what, I mean, people killing, the police killing y'all, y'all killing each other, y'all killing each other too. But damn, that's even worse. That means I got to worry about being killed when I'm at home, and I got to be worried about killed when I'm out here with you, the damn police. I don't feel like I got nowhere to turn.
No safety, nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, man.
And if we feel that way, how do our women and children feel?
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, as far as we're 2023, I mean, because
Okay.
it'll kind of circle back to
Go ahead.
what you were just saying. As far as to 2023, it's a bunch of interesting dynamics that are going on with, like you were talking about the friction trying to be created between the black man and the black woman.
Right.
And there's been a whole subtle thing over the past couple of years. I think me and Damond was talking about it. And before, we've been seeing the whole male, white, female, black, maybe male, black. They've been pushing, you know, the whole, as my grandma used to say, peace be upon her, she say, they pushing the whole thing of the integrated relationships. That's what she called them. She would see that she was,
Okay,
I said,
okay.
grandma, they call them like mulattoes, half-breed, they got all these little names. I said, she said,
Grandma
nah,
say
call them
integrated.
the integrated babies. I said, oh man, integrated babies, but she was 92 years old.
I didn't think about that. That's a damn good point.
So, you know what I mean?
The integrated babies.
The integrated babies. And so
write that down.
It's a whole new notion. You know, if you look, even with you talk about your Wi-Fi sports, you look at a lot of I look at say like your Patrick Mahomes and the other people in when they got this whole look where you like, are they black? Are they white? So it's almost like an identification thing, even back how they had during South Africa. Like in South Africa now they have the whole color thing. It's like I've been seeing a shift. You know, I've been wondering because you know during the pandemic time we had time to think. You know, you just had time to sit there and think about all this different stuff, and you kind of look and you see. You know, the different things that they're doing. They're bringing in people that have the alternate lifestyle, people that practice homosexuality and stuff. They have that just like right up in your face. I was watching a Lexus commercial or something like that, and it was like two dudes like flashing, blah, blah. Then when I found like, what did I just see? What I thought I saw? I'm saying, so they bring it in, and so even with the male and the female, you know, they'll have the little child, you know, running with the little curly hair, you know, looking like, you know, a couple of these quarterbacks that I've noticed in the league and stuff, they kind of look, you know, got that kind of look, you know, like that. And so it's kind of a slow shift to almost like, to me, erase blackness. Like, forget about all of that, you know what I'm saying? We're one people, you know what I'm saying? And then they bring on, and oh man, don't get it started on when you get it with Republican, Democrat thing, and then they got these people that are staunch Democrats or whatever, or staunch Republicans, but mainly, you know, being black, they try to push us toward a particular party. Right. And with that, we looking at this party, they don't owe us nothing, they never gave us nothing, they ain't gonna do nothing for us, but yet we still love them. See, it's almost like that abusive relationship thing that I was talking about, but at least with the abusive relationship, I got my little victories that I'm looking for in. Man, sometimes we don't really have that much. And so I'm saying in 2023, how you were talking about the friction that's created between us, I'm thinking that they're trying to shift the thing away from anything dealing with strong black presence, and they're shifting it into the whole multicultural thing.
Our strength is being diagnosed as toxic because you can't identify with that. You're not at our base, so you got to delude us to be able to communicate right now. And then I saw even before this, when you start seeing people like Madonna Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt getting black babies like they damn pets and shit.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Just if you just
You know
go
what
through
I'm saying?
Hollywood, you know.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna go to Ethiopia and get us one. Well, we're gonna go to Somalia and get us one.
Get us one. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like,
That's the
oh, man,
terminology.
yeah. Oh man. You know?
But it's not indifferent than what you did than what was done to us in the past.
Right.
Now it's being revisited a little bit differently. I mean, just to put it in the context, words like we used to say the house nigga, you know, terminology like that. You were defining somebody who had the predisposition to be in a different position than you.
Right.
Just by you being in that position and I'm being in another different position, then I resented you to a certain degree. You still seeing the same thing now.
There you go.
Thing now. I don't know if that would tie into entrepreneurship, but the last thing I want to say is about, I want people to watch this show to understand this. Everybody has a right to have a belief in who you are. If you're homosexual, if you're gay, if you're lesbian, if you're heterosexual, here's the idea. That's your personal decision. Along with your personal decisions, I have a right to have a personal identity of my own. So you do you. That's you. You do you.
Right.
But don't stop me from doing me.
Yeah.
You are able to
and
come.
don't push the narrative. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like you see in the media, it's like it's pushing the narrative. Like I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. It's
See,
like,
the toxic manhood is for us. You don't have a terminology of somebody else that have a confusion with gender. It's a terminology that's been given to us. And see, we're missing that. And I want everybody to be able to understand that. When I say it, people saying you being homophobic. No, I'm being hetero. I'm talking as a heterosexual man. I'm saying that you being heterophobic if you deny me my belief system associated with being a straight. And everybody who's gay and lesbian don't feel this way. Right. But what has ended up happening is I watched this show, and this lady came on, and she was lesbian, and she was talking, and she said, if I would have known that my belief and my transition was going to have people going to high schools, going to middle schools and elementary school as cross-dressers. If I would have known, it would have eradicated the whole idea of what a gender is. She just went through all these things. She said, I would have never even said anything to anybody. Right. I would have never even come out the closet.
Yeah, she'd have kept it underneath the. Wow.
See, a lot of times what we think our conflicts is a divisionary thing. Because I've had these conversations with gay, lesbian, LGBTQ communities, especially at the schools. And most of them don't even believe what the narrative is that we see. You know why? Because we don't communicate with each other.
That's true. That is true.
I see you, you got your own dynamics, I'm gonna stay in mine. Because the narrative says, you know, we're in conflict with each other.
Right.
I ain't in conflict unless you're trying to alter my belief system and challenge it from that standpoint.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Because I mean, you don't want to step on nobody else, but it's you know what it reminds me of is a lot of times when you come out and if you say, well, I'm a Pan-Africanist, or you know, I'm a black nationalist. I just love black people.
Right.
You're a black power person. Whatever you want to be able to label the person. And then they say, well, it's the automatic thing that if you love black people, so you hate white people. It's like, no, you don't necessarily have to hate anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just because I love myself, it's like I'm a short dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate tall dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to be that. You know, I am what I am. So it's like, it is what it is. And so being black, it's the same thing. The same thing like what you were just saying. If you're heterosexual, that's what you are. You're never going to be the opposite. So don't try to push me, you know, into that particular narrative. Let me grow and be who I am without being scorned, ridiculed, talked about, frowned upon, or whatever, just because you're trying to push your agenda in.
Right.
We had talked about the
And generally ain't their agenda.
Let's hold that.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Go ahead.
Damien Durr.
Damond D. Fields.
This is Kofa Conversations.
The meaning of Sankofa is going back, retrieving what you've lost. We're going to go take y'all back one more time with one of Oak Cliff's finest, Stephen Pooh. We just want to give him a chance to talk about the history that we've been together. From the Carter days on down. So, you know, I just want to say appreciate you, man, for all the support.
Not a problem. I just, you know, I'm thankful that you're in the community, knowing that you started in the South, or what they call South Dallas, but you're still in the Southern sector. And I can always remember when you were in the South on MLK, and we would come in there, you would have music on one side, food in, people like Erykah Badu would pop in there, and the thing that always kept me coming was not just the music or the ambiance, but also the food. It's just like in your location now, and it's crazy because just reminiscing and realizing you went from South to Deep Ellum, and then having that spot in Deep Ellum, which I loved because it gave you a high-end, but also a jazz feel, and the food has always been the main attraction for me. If it was just the tea or if it was the salad dressing. My mom loved the salad dressing. It was always something that she said, who made that salad dressing? Who made? I said, Mom, I got this from Damond spot, Sankofa's. And she was like, what is that? So then when I brought her some, you know, vegan spaghetti, she just fell in love with that. How you doing, ma'am? But then when you moved to Oak Cliff, that was a win. That was a win, because then I would actually buy food specifically for my mom. And I love the fact when she came in, she loved that you had books and you had artifacts in here, things that actually she could relate to when she was growing up in Chicago. You know, and she grew up in a time when a lot of people had more consciousness about themselves. So now that you're on Wheatland Road, and now that I'm a married man, and the woman that's in my life now, since my other woman has gone on to glory, she loves the food too. I'm glad to be able to continue to share what you've been giving us over these years in South Dallas, Southern Dallas, Oak Cliff. The same thing I've been feeling all this time is especially the hibiscus tea, homeboy. I don't know what to tell you about that, but just keep doing what you're doing, man. We appreciate everything that you're doing. It's funny because I look at Sandagas now in South Dallas, and I think about the feel that you gave before Sandagas was even thought about. And it's crazy because both of y'all are from Oak Cliff, but you gave the feel before he gave the feel.
And you talking about Sandaga, I knew the original Daryl, the one that made his transition, rest in peace Daryl, you know, when it was in the arts district. Wow. So he started out as an African art dealer.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So it's like one of those things where you see that what you're doing feeds the soul, feeds the mind, and it's something that we can enjoy all the time, man. So I appreciate you, Doc.
I appreciate you, fam. All right, appreciate it. Peace.